shoutout, and this is Emily, and our middle name is Sunset Chasers. Or, well, that's maybe like our band name or something. Should we name our band Sunset Chasers? Oh,
It's so good.
ah, so sexy. So I wanted to take a moment to show you a little glimpse into my life in Whiting, Indiana. My younger sister, Emily, happened to be visiting from Oregon the week before I got the van. So these are just a few clips of family quality time before she headed off and I started my van search. I love my sister so much, and you'll likely see more of her. This is a lot of my family who you will see more of along the journey as well. Good job, wipe.
Yes, would be so proud.
Good job, Lydia. Don't wipe the flowers. Come here. Yo, so dinner, great dinner, and guacamole. Look, like, okay, so we are just about all ready to go, all packed up. You'll see right there, I've got some tobacco. I'm about to sage the Jeep. This Jeep was sitting still for about 20 days. Going across the country though, going from California to Chicago to Indiana. And so going to do that. The sage is to clear. The tobacco is, so tobacco other than like, let's say modern day cigarettes, a traditionally rolled tobacco is grandfather energy. The plant medicine of tobacco is that grandfather, male, protector, wise, wisdom energy. And so we're going to also use that around the Jeep. So you'll just watch, I have all the doors open because it's about clearing anything and letting it flow. That's to you, through you, all the concept, right? That nothing really stays held onto. Everything is impermanent and comes and goes. And the more that you can get used to that in everything in life, the better off you are. But I will use saging and smudging multiple times a day because I segment my day. I go from one thing to the next and I separate them as different events as to show up fully for any of them. One more thing I wanted to say is that if you're watching this, I want to say about myself and the way that I do spirituality and teach and share and preach is to keep things in general layman's terms. There are a lot of other people who speak a lot more technically than I do, and I don't mind that. I actually kind of prefer the way that I share because I think that a lot of people, myself included, feel spiritual guidance and don't always follow it because it can, one, feel intimidating on its own, what you're feeling and experiencing, and then to get into this realm and begin to do research, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn, and you can textbook your way through your spiritual journey and learn a lot of things and use a lot of terms and still not make the connection. And so I will share from my own experience. I might share technical terms or what I know or the methodologies that I've created along the way. However, I value speaking in less technical terms because I want more people to become more curious about their own spiritual journey and what works for them and what doesn't. Just because of what I share doesn't mean that that's the right way or that's what you should be doing. You might hear me speaking in tongues if you look at my other, or chanting if you look at my other content. It doesn't mean I'm doing anything right or wrong or that I've learned from any specific place. It's been a lot of my own internal journey and then sharing what I feel guided to do. So that's what I will be doing along the path. And so that's just a last word for this little segment for you to not let yourself shy away from if saging and using smokes and medicines to along your journey, then if that feels good and right to you, then explore that for yourself. Go to a crystal shop, go to a metaphysics shop to check out what they have available. You can walk around and ask somebody, but you can also walk around and feel inward and feel the guidance of what speaks to you. That's how I pick my crystals. A lot of people want to know like what does what, and I'm like, I don't know the names of half of them, but you know what? I know how they make me feel, and I know the power that they provide me. Same thing with God, spirit, universe, whatever freaking term you want to use, right? Like, it's all one and the same. And if you go to church every whatever day to do whatever you do, like, it's all important, it's all special, and doesn't have to be right or wrong or any of that. And so just that last word of encouragement as I pack the final things up to hit the road. Love you. Okay, so in Glendale, Arizona, emptied my Jeep, and we're about to go into, have Dad supervising. We're about to go into sport mode, Tetris mode. I'm trying to look at the picture. I'm gonna turn it around. So that's what I brought in the Jeep. This is what's been here of my stuff. And we're gonna see all of what we can fit into this space. Stay tuned. All right, yo, we did it. So save the video for the morning because we were packing till late into the dark, but that's all that's left of what I have, and that's not coming with. And it this is a new peak for me. I've many a times filled the Jeep to the brim, even managed to get my thing. Let me see if I could back this up, perhaps. And then packed. The clubs are coming. Stoked on that. Everything is fit in every single place. First time I've had roof cargo, so that should be a fun little story to tell. Well, in fact, I'm mostly on it there not being any stories about it, except for, hey, I arrived, so follow along. A sign that my dad's been around. Flowers left on the dash, flowers left on the desk, just a little picked flower here, there, and everywhere. That's the sign that Daddy-O's been around. I know that a major reason why I'm recording this vlog and tracking the entire journey, including not just the van build, but the journey itself, is because I was talking to my dad last night, and my mom has asked me about it, different people have asked me about it. A lot of people are very supportive of the what's coming up next. I'm also going like straight uphill. I'm in the going through the Prescott National Forest, and I'm almost at Sedona, but just moving right along. So what I wanted to say was, my dad was talking about the electric and the solar and the wiring and custom building cabinets, and he's a contractor. In fact, I won't even call my dad a contractor. He is a craftsman. He was like, well, how are you going to do this? And how are you going to do that? Just the normal parent-dad concerns, and I love it, and I'm grateful. And though I shared with him, like, I want to, I didn't directly ask him to help. And it's not that I'm not interested in that, because I imagine him helping me on certain things, or teaching me how to use certain tools or whatever, or how to build a cabinet that doesn't fall apart in 3 road trips, right? So, yes, and then there's the YouTube world, which is exactly why I'm recording it. And I'd actually love to use this moment to give a major shout out to Linnea, who has her own channel, and I will be sure to link it here in the video, because I have watched all of her videos and I've been following along. I follow her on Instagram and stuff, and I really just love having watched her build her van and figure it out and do it all herself. And yes, she had help along the way too, but in her Instagram, she was talking about, like, when you go back and watch her content, which, by the way, Linnea, thank you, love you, you're awesome, as I talk about you. But what I want to say is, you watch her older videos and you can tell she's figuring it all out from scratch, learning how to use different tools, learning how electricity works, which is exactly what I have been doing. And now, if you know her now and follow her now, she's been on like 4 different builds, including working with her brother, and then also on the show Gutted and all of those different things. So she's been it looks like she has a power tool attached. It's like a new extremity. And so it's just very inspiring to see people who've gone before me, because as my dad was asking me those questions, like, I just know the fact that he isn't watching the same content that I am and have seen other females, women building their own stuff, right? It's just this evolution. And so it's really cool. And I told him, I said, I'm excited. There's a part of me that can't wait to do it myself and say, I built this. And then I shared how, like, yeah, there's also, it would be incredible to have you help me. He's living in Arizona right now, and I'm driving and doing the build in Indiana. So he would have to really like plan to come and help. I'm also driving straight uphill and gaining elevation, and my ears and nose are popping. But yeah, and then I told him, you know, my mom has done 2 home reconstructions with my dad's help as well, and then my dad has been a contractor our whole lives. And so I said I wanted to go the way that I wanted to go, and I think that that's something that's very important, is like, I want this, it's not just about the van life, it's about the van build and wanting to enjoy the process and have a lot of fun, and it be a real transformational experience to experience myself as that capable to do it, to put it together. And so it's quite a journey, and I have nothing but support in my life, and I'm so grateful, because I think I've said to people behind the scenes, like, okay, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do van life, and you know, sometimes people say, what are your friends and family saying? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've tapped my friends and family out on like shocking information, so they're just like, okay, this is what's next for Abigail, all right. And so it's been a fun process of sort of coming out of the van closet. Like, hey, I'm gonna be doing this. I'm not experiencing a lot of resistance or doubt or naysaying, so I love that, because I've constantly proven again and again, either, you know, building a business or moving all over or traveling the world or learning a new language, like all these different things. I want to, the way that specifically Linnea has inspired me and many other, I keep talking about her because I really watched her build start to finish, but there's a couple other van lifers that I really admire and appreciate them sharing their content, whether that be adventure and journey content or build content. Like, either way, it's really appreciated. So and I'm happy to be one of those people in the world sharing it, because I know we all resonate with different people and different journeys. So, you know, if I'm one of the journeys that resonates with you, that's flippin' awesome, and I appreciate it, and I'd love to hear from you. But I would love to inspire anyone starting from scratch who feels like they have little to no experience. I grew up in construction, as far as like so much. I always got to play in the in the demo part of it, where we're tearing stuff down, but building things up to, I can't even tell you how many tree houses I've built, but that's besides the fact. Knowing how to use a power tool, knowing how to hook up electric, that is going to be a new adventure for me. So there's a lot of things, but I would love to inspire someone who feels like they have no experience to not feel limited by any lack of knowledge or experience, because we live in a digital age, we live in the information age, where you can acquire pretty much any information you need to do it. There's no like impossibility. It's just a matter of, we haven't figured out the creative solution, or we haven't arrived at the answer yet. And so don't stop just because anyone questions you. Don't stop just, and this could be about a van build, obviously, but I built a business this way. I've, you know, built my life this way. And so don't stop just because you're unsure, because you're unclear, because you don't know. You can learn anything you need to know. You can acquire any skill you need to acquire. And like, I'm going to give one example. I am not a great singer. Like, my vocal cords were not wired to sound very harmonic. And that does not stop me from chanting and singing and praising and doing all the things, right? So just because something doesn't come naturally to you doesn't mean you cannot do it. And hey, one other side of that coin is if it is better, faster, easier, more fluid, and more fun for you to pay for services to have it done, by all means. I work on the computer all day, every day, or all my calls and stuff are on the phone. I am so ready to have a hands-on project. I am a very creative being, and so I'm ready to build. I am ready to hammer. I am ready to saw and paint and decorate and just like all that stuff, and then be able to step back and look at it like I built my first home, basically. I'm stoked about that. So yes, I'm open to receiving support and help, and I would especially, it would be so beautiful and brilliant to be able to have that sort of legacy with my dad, that memory with my dad, or whoever else, like my mom. I'm sure my mom will chip in too, but ultimately there's a part of me that wants to know I can do it on my own and all that fun stuff. I am in Whiting, Indiana, sitting on Lake Michigan, putting my feet in very cold water. It's almost ice bath worthy, but very worth it too. I'm really excited about the project. I am really excited. It feels like art. It feels like a chance for some creative expression, which I've really been longing lately. My business is a beautiful form of creative expression. However, it's a lot of like intellect. And I want to use my art. I want to use my hands. I want to get dirty. I want to build something. So I'm really craving the project itself and excited about it. So that's where we're at right now in Whiting. I wanted to share like a little bit of just another brief bit of history, because I've shared that I'm a nomad. I have been 100% nomad for the last year. Mexico, the States, Costa Rica, and still on the move. In 2017 is when I moved away from Whiting, so you can probably see Chicago right there. Okay, so I left Indiana and moved to California in 2017, and when I moved to California is when I wrote my first book, Giving Up, the Memoir of a Quitter. And from there, I moved up to Portland to live with my sister for 3 months and did a book tour there. I had like 6 events for my book to share. And then I moved back to Southern California. Then I moved to Phoenix. And in Phoenix, in Arizona, I lived in Scottsdale, Chandler, and Gilbert, all in the span of like 10 months, which was, again, moving around, promoting my book, networking, building my community. It was fabulous. I have, again, I mentioned in the last one, I have a global community and definitely a national community. Living the van life is going to be so special because I'll be able to visit so many clients and my authors. I have a publishing house, which I shared. And so I'm really looking forward to also being able to go places and truly root in and be there, not just fly in for a weekend and fly out. You don't really get the experience of that place. And so I'm really looking forward to also having a home on wheels, because when I do travel, I'm spending that same amount of money on Airbnbs and hotels. However, I'd love to have like more of my things. I currently live out of a suitcase in my backpack, which is fine. Is that a person or is that a rock? Oh, it's a rock. I thought someone was meditating behind me. So moved to Arizona, then moved back to California. That was the longest I lived in one place for a while, was like 2019 to through the pandemic into 2021. And then I moved to Prescott, Arizona, and then that's when really took off in the camper. So I have been on the move for a very long time, and I hope to give you a lot of tips and tricks. I feel like a professional traveler at this point, so I'm really excited to share a lot of that. And it's not all specifically van life, it's just being on the move. And I think that as far as like the transformation piece of that is, can you handle change? Can you be okay with change? I love the quote, the only thing consistent in life is change. And if you can't adapt to that, or if you can't accept that, your fighting it will cause your suffering. And I mean, you could do that, but you could also really enjoy life. We often suffer when we're resisting change and trying to keep things the same. And so when you lean in, the change might be uncomfortable, but there's always another side to that where you recalibrate and to the change. And so I am just wanting to share that, because that's a lot of what you're going to see throughout this process. Okay, I'm here with George and Mom and Mark and we just went through the sporting event of buying a van.
Yes.
I'm in it, and they hooked us up, so woohoo! Thank you.
Our new transit purchaser, ring a while. Woo!
After the purchase, I left the van behind to have some bonus features added on and a little bit of extra maintenance, and was able to pick it up a week later.
Now let's...
The first minute of being alone in and with this vehicle, the buying process was simple enough, pretty chaotic, but I think it's just buying a vehicle in general can be chaotic, so. She's all mine, she's all mine. I think I know her name, but I'm gonna keep hanging out with her a little bit more before I let you know. Stay tuned. I'm at a stoplight, and man, y'all, I don't have tears yet, but this is a lot of patience and a lot of work and a lot of commitment paying off. I'm here pressing buttons on my screen in my car, that I have a screen in my car now. There's a lot of patience that I've worked through to arrive at where I'm at in this exact moment. And I just want to share that with y'all, because I know there's a lot of us who you're the one holding out right now. You're the one moving through it. And trust me, it also doesn't end, but there's really cool milestones along the way. So I just need you to know that if you're holding out, moving through, hanging on, keeping the faith, walking blindly in that faith, there are really big, cool days and experiences that then come full circle for you, like this, where you're chilling in your brand new van with 40 miles on it. It's clean, it's sparkly, it's shiny. You got your drink, you got your just want to come to you in this moment, because we have so many dreams, and sometimes if we're not conscious and aware, like I could have easily gotten that van and then run off through the rest of my day and then run off into the rest of my night without just stopping to reflect and feel gratitude. And I'm here at home. You've seen a lot of the clips from home as well, and I am so blissed out. Like, this has been the best trip home in such a long time, and I had quality time with my family. I'm still here for a long time. I'm gonna do the van build here, so newsflash, I'll be in Indiana for a significant amount of time. But there were a lot of seasons of my growth and transformation where coming home was very triggering. If in real time, I'm 2 years and 3 or 4 months sober. I no longer smoke marijuana. I no longer drink alcohol. And so that's a big deal, especially as I was becoming sober and breaking patterns and identities and habits that I had that originated in this environment. That, not that I had a negative relationship with people that I love, but that naturally I made these associations with my own addictions or with my own habits, or again, disempowering identities and behaviors and limiting beliefs. And so being here at this stage of my transformation has been so amazing and blissful and beautiful. And I get to enjoy the people that I love, and I get to enjoy the town that I grew up in, and the people that raised me, and not just family, but like friends. And we're a village, we're a town of like 5,000 people. It's really small. And so I just feel so good. And to be getting this van and doing this build, I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy. And I'd love to share that with you for 2 reasons. One, because there's hope. And 2, don't forget to celebrate. Don't forget to like slow down. I'm big on segmenting my day, and meaning doing something and then offering a break in between before you pivot to the next thing. Sometimes when we fall into the next thing after the other, we're like we don't even remember that we're breathing or that we have a body. And so this is just that reminder to slow down. I'm so present to like the peak. I've been arriving to like this moment now, just like a it's gonna be so great. So join me and follow and subscribe and share. Again, this is gonna be Vanville, but it's also gonna be transformation. And the bit of transformation that I love to offer you now is if you're going through something, or if your family relationships are broken, or things trigger you, or you're trying to heal and you're trying to evolve and you're trying to ascend and stay sober or emotionally sober. That's a big piece of sobriety. Is it's not just about physical sobriety, it's about emotional sobriety. And if you need help, ask for help. You can reach out to me. This is my career. And if I'm not the one to help you, then I have dozens, thousands of resources to send you off in the next best direction. So do not suffer silent. Do not isolate. Do not hide out. It gets better. It gets much, much better. And it stays better. Because there's a phase of transformation where it starts to get better, but your old habits tell you that the shoe will fall, the shit will drop, it's gonna go crazy, it's gonna end. When does it get bad again? It gets better and it stays better. There is that phase. Stay tuned. It's gonna get fun. Real fun. Woo! Woo! That thing is sexy. The driver and the van. Ooh, ooh. Yes, sir. Of my family has already commented calling me an Amazon driver. Too bad, so sad. I'm super stoked. And blue jean. So I said that it's called Blue Jean Baby, and then my friend said, what about Blue Jean Queen? And I'm like, probably both. Cleaning out the Jeep. She's going for sale. Luckily to my aunt, so family member, so I know she's gonna live a good life, but it's our final days together. We had our final road trip together, so. I was journaling, and this is something that has come up for me, which I think comes up for a lot of people, and I really want to speak into it. Imposter syndrome, or sometimes what I call it, like being a con, being a fraud, being fraudulent, or being a poser. So if like any of those ring true for you, this is for you. I have always had these desires or passions, or I would see something and like it. Let's say a great example is like being a surfer chick, right? From high school, we used to go out to California every couple of years. My grandfather lives out there. And so when we would go, I would meet these Southern California girls, like my aunts and then their friends, or whoever at the beach, or you're walking around, especially like Southern California, where I am in San Clemente or San Diego, even LA. You go to Venice, you see the lifestyle that you see depicted in movies. It's like walking around in a movie. And me being from Indiana, and I would go there and it really resonated with me. Like I wanted to surf, and I wanted to live in my bathing suit or with no shoes on, or be walking on the beach all day. And so going there made me feel like I was stepping into something that I didn't belong to, or that I wasn't a part of. And we may have felt like that in certain friend groups. Maybe we feel like that in our family sometimes, or, whatever, wherever, when you're starting a new career, right? Like walking in as I became a teacher. So you walk into the school system for the first time, and you're entering something. So you don't feel a part of it yet all the time. But at the same time, there's a part of you in you. I remember specifically in the book writing industry and in the publishing industry, always feeling like a newbie, always feeling like I was trying to make my way in instead of being actually in. Even 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books into writing and being a writer and publishing, I still felt like I was trying to make my way in. And sometimes I can still feel that way. And one of my coaches, because yes, coaches have coaches, one of my coaches said, how many books is it going to take for you to feel like an author? Or how many books is it going to take for you to feel valid? And the last time I was in California, it was the water still chill. You got to wear a wetsuit in the California Pacific. And so I grabbed my wetsuit, which I own. I grabbed my wetsuit. I grabbed my 9-foot longboard and I flip it up under my arm and I'm walking to the car and I know it needs to be re-waxed and I know which wax to get and I got to peel it off. Like there's things that I was like, I'm a surfer chick. Like I'm not a wannabe surfer chick. I don't wish I were a surfer chick. Like I know how to surf and I know the like different things about surfing, right? I could say that. I always felt like a basketball player, right? Because I've been raised doing that. So like anyone who came onto the court was coming onto my court. But when I go into the water, I'm going into other people's water kind of thing. And so you are, if you're starting a business, if you're starting a dream, if you're trying something new, I'm learning Spanish right now. And guess what? I don't feel like a part of the Spanish culture. I went to Costa Rica and I was like, hey, ¿dónde está el baño? Like, I don't know where the fuck I'm going or what the fuck I'm saying or what the fuck you're saying, right? So that was such an interesting dynamic because if you aren't willing to be new and messy and feel like an imposter or feel like you're uncomfortable or you're not part of the in crowd, then you're never going to cross the threshold to feel like you are, like whatever that means for you, right? And this is a level of permission, acceptance. You're allowed to have your desires. You're allowed to have new passions just because it wasn't your passion growing up or before, or that's never been introduced to you. There's been so many things in my life that I've been introduced to crosses over into your identity. You're reshaping your identity. And just because you're new at it or it's new to you doesn't mean you're not going to be great at it. And it's a major part of who you're becoming. My spiritual gifts, my channeling, light language, healing, energy work, all of that, that's never been a part of my history in this physical lifetime. That's not, it's just not been there, the training, the nurturing. And so when I discovered some of these things, or when these things started to come to me internally and awaken in me, I was like, who is this? Who am I? Well, I went through major identity crises trying to figure these pieces out and walk this path. And yes, I would again try to observe others, but also it's a lot of like listening within because I have that guidance. You have the guidance towards things that you are passionate about, that you will be gifted at, that may become your new career, that may become your new favorite hobby. And so don't be closed off just because you feel like an imposter or you feel like the new kid on the block or you don't know what you're doing. That's how it starts, especially if you're like committed to a great life. Think about your greatest life. Aren't there things that aren't in your current life that are a part of your dream life? Like, when do those enter? When do you start those? How would they come into your life if you don't let them into your life, right? So I just really wanted to come to say that because, again, how many books do you need to write to feel like an author? How many surfboards do you need to own to feel like a surfer? How many vans do you need to have to be a van lifer, right? And so whatever that question is for you, take a look, because my guess is it simply has to do with you giving yourself permission to feel like you want to feel and have what you want to have and be who you want to be. It's all about permission and letting that happen and then living it and celebrating it, showing it up and talking about it and having fun. So have a lot of fun. I know I am. All right, friends, hanging outside my mama's house and about to sage this van. We are going to cleanse this van of any energy that has been infused in it, not involuntarily, but through its production, to clear any sort of it could be good or bad energy, but just not my energy, not energy that I'd like to take on my road trip with me, or into my new life. You could do this. So this is my home. This is my new home. So I've done this for clients. I've done this for friends and family when they have a new home, or a new space, or what. I do this dozens of times a day between calls, to again release any energy. We're gonna put you up on Mom's van. Whoops. Let's see if that works so it doesn't fall over. So I do this all day to reset the energy, and not, so if I'm, working with a client, don't want to bring what I worked on with that client into my next call. So I will sage. I like to segment my day, right? And so we are gonna segment the ownership of this vehicle. I am the first owner, so that's really cool because it's not carrying a lot of history. We're just clearing sort of the making of it, the sale of it, and officially welcoming in its new, sort of like an initiation. So got the sage. I wish you can smell it, but you can go get some. So we're gonna what I like to do is you go around the perimeter of the vehicle. Hey there. You go, good, how are you?
Another day in paradise.
That's, amen. You too. And so there's often different instructions that you might see or find. I like to just create a full circle inside and outside. Sometimes they say only stick to the left perimeter and walk. If you feel good about what you're doing, then trust that, okay? Same thing with all these sorts of different ways to guide and clear and work with energy, and in here, so follow that. I'm just going to give you a couple perspectives and opportunities. So I'm going to sage specifically the doors, any entryway. We keep it open so that, because this is clearing, like if you were to sweep the floor, you wouldn't keep the doors closed and sweep. You want to have everything exit, so that, again, any negative energy, any negative spirits, anything like that, you want that to welcome them out. So that's what we're doing. So you'll see me, I like to I focus as I pass. So like I do this on my body. I clear my head, I clear my throat, I clear my ears, my nose, my eyes, my mouth, my crown, right? Go down to my heart, my hips. So I really focus on any part that I'm passing. So I will pass the wheels and I will release anything that is lodged in them, any energetic blocks. I'll pass the gas tank and again, clear anything out and also wish it well. And so that's what we're gonna do. So, it feels so good. It feels so good to, again, remove anything that doesn't belong. And then also, I was thanking the vehicle for all of the ways that it's going to keep me safe and be my home and protect me and guide me and hold me. And I can see, as I was passing, like inside specifically, I could see the things that will be built in it. And the ways that it's going to become my home. So, and now we're going to sage you. So take a deep breath in to clear anything that doesn't belong, to thank anything that's come and gone, to release anything that no longer serves, to unlock and dislodge any energetic blockages that are holding you down, holding you back, weighing on you. And take a deep breath in and a big thank you push out. Thank you for your service, right? Thank you for all the things that have shaped us, molded us, challenged us, stretched us, expanded us, and now we are, and so we can be. So take another deep breath in, and that sigh of relief out. You get to be excited about a clearing. You get to be excited about a new opportunity. Every new moment is a new opportunity. Every new minute, every new segment. That's why I love to segment my day and intentionally go from, I just ended calls and I cleared, I did one of these, I did one of these, and a little of that, and a little of thank you, right? So to release and to come here to you with some fresh energy, not from the energy that I just served a bunch of clients in, right? So get to come happy, grateful, and excited. And so delicious, and you get a new chance at the next opportunity and the next interaction. So thank you for being here. Stay along.